in Parshas Metzorah, we have a very, very unique thing. We have an anomaly that it comes to korbanos. We know that a person who speaks lashon hara and has tsaras, so when he's cured from his tsaras, has to go through a process, and part of that process is he has to bring certain type of korbanos. And the carbon for a Metzorah is he has to bring shtei tziporim chayos. He has to bring two birds. What we do with these two birds, every single korban that there is, a korban is by very addition, except for korban mincha, which isn't a live animal, but every korban that involves a live animal, a korban means that the animal is eventually slaughtered, shechted on his mizbeach or near the mizbeach, etc., etc. The korban of the Metzorah, where he has to bring these two birds, is the exception to that rule. First of all, why birds? Zok Rashi. Lefisha hanegoyim boim al lashon hara, because negoy Metzorah comes as a result of speaking lashon hara. But tziporim pitputa koil, and birds chatter all the time. They chirp, they chatter. So therefore, this person who spoke lashon hara, he speaks too much. He chatters too much. And therefore he goes ahead and has to bring these two birds. But why do you go ahead, you shecht one of the birds, and you take the second bird, you don't shecht it, you dip it in the blood, and then you send it away, which is, I say, unique. There's no korban of an animal that is not shechted. Why do you send it away? So the Svar Sames in Parshas Metzorah writes, "Hatziporim boin lesaken beis hachatayim," because these two birds are there to go ahead and to give a kapara for two sins. Hashchuta levar v'lifresh etzem atzmim midvorim betelim mikoshkein lashon hara. The bird that is slaughtered, is killed, is going ahead to go ahead and to be mechaper and to kill speech, to kill lashon hara, to kill dvorim betelim, to kill all those averas that have to do with speech. You kill it. That's why you kill that bird. That bird that chatters too much, you kill it. As a kapara, you should know that you have to go ahead and kill that speech. V'hamishulachas, but the bird that's sent away, lahochin hapeh, v'lashon lahitzis b'hem divrei Torah, v'lachin ashchuta asura v'hamishulachas muteres. Kamo she'omar Chazal. Says this Vasam is based on a Zohar, that bird that's kept alive is to be misakin the speech which we did not give. Meaning to say, Shereimez al hadibur hatahera shezeh iker ha'adam lenefesh chaya leruach mamalala. What this Vasemes is saying, which really the Zohar is saying, is that of course we should not speak bad, we should not speak evil, we shouldn't speak lashon hara. So this is a kapora on lashon hara, and you go ahead and you kill the bird, you kill the lashon hara. But sometimes we don't speak enough. What does that mean? We don't give compliments where they're deserved. We don't go ahead and use the gift of speech to go ahead and to uplift a person, to be mechazik a person who's down, and to give him encouragement. For the lack of speaking, the good speech, which the Zohar in fact calls, there's mila, boin al mila bisha, val milan tovin. They're good words and they're bad words. The bird that we shecht is for the bad speech. Kill it, get rid of it. The bird that we sent away is to go ahead and to remind us that we didn't speak enough when it was necessary to speak, when it was a mitzvah to speak, to say a thank you, to say ashakoyach, to be a mechazik a person, to uplift somebody's spirits. And for not doing that, we need a kapara as well. And that's the second bird that's kept alive. To Miram's house, that we have to go ahead and keep that type of speech alive as well. You know, when somebody does something in shul, he daven for the Amid, or he helps clean up something, give him a yashakayach. I always say, compliments is the biggest, easiest chesed to do. It doesn't cost you a dime. It doesn't cost you very much time. A thank you, a yashakayach. Gee, yeah, that was a great davening. Oh, I was inspired. That was a good drasha. I was inspired. And certainly when a person is down in the dumps, and go ahead and to say a nice word, doesn't cost you nothing. And what this Chazal is saying, the Zohar is saying, is that we'll be held accountable for those opportunities that we didn't that we didn't speak. We didn't say what we should have said. A long time ago, a person went ahead and told me a story about a girl who was shopping before Pesach, and she was sitting in her car, and she saw, this is a girl who already out of high school, I don't know what stage of life she was in, but certainly not a teenager anymore. And she sees her English teacher from the 6th grade walking down the street. And she really liked this teacher, and the teacher was a great teacher. So she gets out of the car and she walks over to the woman and says, you know, I want to tell you that you taught me English, and you taught me how to write. And that when I applied for a high-end seminary, I had to write an essay, and it was a beautiful essay, and that essay got me into that seminary, which changed my life, and that's because you were such a good English teacher. You know, again, all it cost her is a couple minutes and getting out of the car. But there's an end of that story. That woman went ahead and wrote a letter to this girl's parents and said it was right before Pesach, and the school that I was teaching in, where I had taught for 37 years, asked me whether I wanted to come back after Pesach, to next year. And I had to make a decision. In fact, the decision I had to make was on the day that that girl came over to me. You know, and I had decided, 37 years is long enough. You know, as teachers get older, they get much, much older than their students, When I started saying Shir in Yeshiva, it was a chabura. I was about 7 or 8 years older than the people I was teaching. Now I'm a lot older than that, a lot older than them. So the woman felt that she wasn't relating to the girls anymore. And therefore she said, you know what, I'm going to say that's it. Hang him up, and I'm not going to stop teaching. I got that letter, I came home and I said, no, if I can do something for a girl like that, I have to keep it on doing. That's lishna tova. That's good talking. That's good lashon. And that's the lashon that we're going to be held accountable for being able to say such things and not actually doing it. And therefore, not only we should stop for the lashon hara, the lishna bisha, and kill the bird, we should go ahead and keep the other bird alive to remind us of the lishna tova, the good speech.